All right. We go to a town east of Amori, the only designation it has. This small, little village located out the edge holds a single gatherer, one who has much fame within their small little blot of dirt, but hardly heard of outside of it. This humble villager is named Hiyori, traveling back down from the paths of his ancestor. He walks to his door, cracks it open, and steps inside. That familiar air rushing into his face. The smell of herbs, tea mixing together in a pleasant little abode. A fire very lightly simmering. Yori,
Hello.
you go on inside of your house and let me just put you down. There we go.
Oh, his little house. He comes in, practically takes his shoes off, and takes a very deep scent of whatever is being prepared. What season is it right now?
Oh, the season. Well, it's coming near to the end of spring. Soon it'll be getting into the summer, and it's already started warming up ever so slightly.
So it's probably been a bit cool up in the hills where his roots
Yep.
take him. So he's just basking in the warmth as he takes his shoes off and peeks his head around. Milo! Immediately thump, 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 wraps arms around. I'm home!
They hug their arms back around you as well. Hiyori!
Dinner smells so good! What are you making? He's looking over your shoulder while still being glomped on.
It is most likely a soup.
It's like hot hot tea, that's all tea. It's
It is a soup, most likely consisting of herbs that you had gathered previously. Perhaps even just for a spice of flavor, a touch of mint.
Aww. Soup I'm from my spouse. My spouse is so talented. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
You hear a slight noise, just an agitated harumph or something occur from behind the rather thin wall. Some form of engagement is occurring.
Oh, I'll go say hi to Fathers.
Of course.
Rotates around while still having arms around, and then finally pulls himself away and is like,
You step on through and move past the small empty shrine within your house.
Hiyori briefly stops, as he tends to do both before and after a trip outside, and does a quick little prayer of thanks to no one in particular, just whoever's listening, that he came home safely.
With that, you step away from the shrine, a prayer going out into the wilds. And moving to the door, you very lightly announce your presence, and a voice rings out. Your father. Come in, Hiyori.
Hiyori gently opens the door and steps inside.
You step on inside, and across you also notice both of them are engaged in a game of Go right now. And it seems that they are kind of scratching their heads as both seem rather enraptured. However, it seems your father is winning. Ever so silently, the protests emerging from the corner. And then, very lightly, Kozu places a piece forward. And without really much fanfare, your father's very light smile broadens as he places down a stone and manages to capture and the resulting noise of ah, God, why do I even try playing games with you? He kind of stands up. Hiyori, how'd it go?
Hello, Father. Father, Dad. He appears to have been momentarily distracted. See, in his head, whenever he walks in on a battle like this, he has a tendency to fall into imagining the movement of the pieces as soldiers on a battlefield with his father and father-in-law as opposing warlords, and gets a bit swept up in the fantasy. It went very well. Kind of comes in, brings down his pack, and is excitedly pulling out some of the compartments inside. We're reaching the end of the season for them, but I managed to find a great deal of foxtail. He pulls out a great herb with a very bushy appearance. It's probably seemingly useless because it's so fluffy, you can't really use it for anything, but at the core, the stem actually contains some medicinal properties as long as you gather it at the right time. This will probably fetch, it's a good batch and might fetch a little bit of a higher price since it's starting to go out of season.
Huh, that's some big money-making thing?
Well, maybe a little bit. We'll have to see what prices we can get for it. But it was a good gathering day.
Good. He kind of pays attention back, places the stone deck, and once more the game kind of continues on as, you know when dinner is?
Milo. Hee. Let me just...
He kind of like looks and sees him start running off, and it's like kind of scratches his head. Head in the clouds.
Tap, plump. How's it going?
It's almost done.
Oh, good. Father will be happy to hear that. Makes no move to go back.
Rotates around with Hiyori still attached.
We should go tell fathers.
Yes, you're right. Happily walks along, still holding onto spouse.
Through door. Closes door.
You get the feeling this man would be fucking intolerable to almost any outside observer.
She always appreciates his company.
He loves them.
Fathers, it is almost done. Listen.
He kind of stops. All right, we'll finish up quick. He kind of stops, and then rapid fire, and then you just start slamming down stones on and it get going pretty quick as he almost slaps down immediately. And then, however, Yuri's father seems not to be so concerned as he simply places down another stone. A rapid response, and continuing like that. A turn that takes a second with a turn that takes 15 minutes, which ends up eventually coming to a conclusion. All right, that's fine. Get out of my room. All of you, I'll be out in a second.
Oh,
He kind of stands up. Good game.
A crushing defeat.
Always.
The forces will be hard pressed to recover from this. Many wounded to tend.
It wasn't a good game. He steps to the side, minds the prayers, and you both step back out into the main room. And as you move, Hiyori, you sort of once more grabbed your bag as you left, and you realize while soup's getting prepared, you should probably put some of the stuff away back inside of your room.
Realizing this, as he always takes some time to do, he gives his spouse a gentle kiss on the forehead, and then hoists his bag and heads into his room while dinner is being finished.
Mhm. So,
Now,
you
which room is? Oh no, our room is down to the south,
yes.
isn't it?
Yeah, quite simply, you
Yeah.
can go put some stuff in there, and then you can toss all your herb gear up to the top left once you get back out. You step into a room, a little bit of min sitting in a pot as you press on, and back here, that's a spot where you can generally start putting up some personal effects.
He takes his pack down. It's especially well, not exactly designed, but there's not much in the way of artisanal design here, but crafted over time to be better at this and that. Full of hard compartments that won't crush any leaves or roots that he brings back, and begins sorting out his haul from the bulk items, which like purple mustard, uh, that is something common that nevertheless tends to only be at higher altitudes, so you can't be grown so easily down here yet. And then the more minute ones finally ending on the kind of thing that he picks up when he hasn't seen it before or hasn't been able to successfully cultivate it yet. Some clippings and seeds wrapped in paper to keep them from rattling around.
Oh, nice. That's a rather in-depth description as you end up exactly that. You know your stuff as you end up pulling multiple herbs out and wrapping them up. Um, at the end, you manage to piece everything out, and um, you you put all that aside. You manage to wrap it, get everything organized again, um, have it all ready to take, and the last thing is you pull out a last compartment, one that wasn't holding any herbs, but something interesting you found. You
Oh.
pull out this tiny little shining emblem that you found on the hills. It was quite a strange thing. You're not quite you're not quite sure exactly how it got there, but on your path, a little off, you found just this little shining emblem. This small little perhaps it's religious significance? Maybe it might be some form of not a coin, it's a little oddly shaped for that. But this, everything else taken aside, you'll put in your herb compartments later, but this goes on your special shelf,
Yeah.
along with a number of other doodads and things that have collected from wandering salesmen, travelers from abroad. This is a cabinet for the world, and placing another little piece inside, you leave it there.
I wonder where you could have come from. Well, I suppose if anyone's seen a stranger nearby, I'll have to check and see if they've dropped something, but for now, why don't you keep the rest of them company? Setting them next to his other souvenirs and pieces of a larger world he's never seen.
With that, you then collect the bags that you've managed to separate out and take them back outside of your room.
Set these ones aside to dry. These ones I'll. Oh, I wonder if I could if I pickle vegetables with this one. Oh, I suppose I should try and cultivate more first. Can't spend. Milo! Immediately upon seeing Spouse, he goes over again. Is there anything I can help with?
Yes, you can help me with serving it.
Hands you a ladle.
Unfortunately, your hands are rather tied. You're holding a bunch of bags.
Huh?
Ah, right! I should take care of these first. I'll be right there!
Ah.
Got distracted by Spouse.
You move over to the side, your father kind of peeking an eye ever so slightly open before closing again. He has a long prayer for the day.
Hiyori, knowing, walks around his old man almost subconsciously. This is part of the routine as well, and goes to the storeroom to start sorting the herbs that need storing long term.
You do that, starting to sort everything out. You hear a very slight voice. Ah, come on, old man. I'm sure they're tired of hearing you. Steps on past as eventually you hear the footsteps leading out. You manage to deposit all of your herbs. You combine some things together that you already have stacked up, make a new box for some of the new stuff, and everything gets sorted pretty easily. And eventually, you manage to make your way back out.
Milo soup smells so good. Goes over to help spouse.
You assist Spoos and manage to take the ladle and help serve out soup to everyone assembled. It's all put down together in this nice, right in front of your nice little hearth. And eventually, after serving it, you all manage to sit down. It seems as though you've been wedged far apart from your spouse, unfortunately.
Yeah, you just
But-
see crying emoji face.
And with that, spouse, just roll a 1d20 for me.
Oh, of course.
Okay,
Oh, wow.
That's good soup. Spouse is good
That's
soup.
higher than I expected.
Yeah, it's not meme food. You have a wonderful vegetable soup that's honestly rather. A vegetable soup is delicious in its own right. However, this one is assembled with a number of rare herbs. Those that are harder to find, yet not particularly expensive to sell. They flavor wonderfully, and the soup itself has almost a minty quality to it as well. Just barely, but it's still mostly just this wonderful, warm concoction.
His fathers have made a misjudgment by keeping them apart. It means he's not cuddling up to his spouse while they're both eating, but instead they're both caught in the crossfire of this lovey-dovey beam shit.
You sort of kind of start yelling across, talking, complimenting, and on the other end, someone slurps down their soup pretty efficiently and is just like, "Ah, this is delicious. You did wonderful. Iori, maybe you should learn to cook like this too someday."
Oh, there's no way my cooking could match up to Milo's. But I
Ah,
will
but
happily...
Than you?
No. Don't even try. He kind of turns over. What about those long expeditions and stuff you take out sometime? You're out there for 1 or 2 days sometimes. What do you eat out there?
Oh, well, there's always lots to eat on the mountains. And in the forests. It's just... And I know where to look for everything, so it would just be a bit wasteful to carry anything out, especially since Milo's food is the best when eaten right away while it's still warm.
Yeah, suppose that's true. Ends up taking another slurp, and sort of chipping in for the first time in a little bit. Your father kind of speaks up. Yuri,
What is it, Dad?
going to be doing some maintenance on the roof the next couple of days. Would you be willing to give me a hand?
Dad, you don't have to do that. I said I'd take care of it.
Oh, don't worry about it. You're out doing a bunch of stuff in the mountain.
Well,
Ye-
for all we know, it was looking misty, so it might rain soon anyway. So it wouldn't be very safe to go up the mountain anyway.
He kind of considers that. I suppose he, well, you just got back, so don't worry about it tonight.
All right.
He kind of like turns over to the side. Tomorrow, we're both going up there. I know you don't want me climbing up ladders, but what else am I going to do? Beat him in games? He kind of gestures over to his cold shoulder, just like, "Ah." Ends up taking another sip of soup.
The defeated general's pride has remained strong.
And as you continue through with dinner, slight bits of conversation kind of continue to pool out. Do you have anything you wish to bring up, Hiyori, or are you simply enjoying the moment?
Nope, he'll probably just enjoy being home after a long day out, enjoy his lovely spouse's worm soup, and listening to his dads argue. And it take him quite a while before remembering to mention the emblem he found, which will frankly be the most exciting thing anyone has probably talked about all week.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yes, that's probably going to be a wonderful conversation topic as things start to filter across. You you kind of contemplate on it a little bit, and then eventually, sort of speaking up, Milo,
Hmm?
the meal was delicious, though he kind of considers a little bit. Uh, hmm. Weren't we supposed to be getting a tea shipment out by tomorrow?
Ah,
their face just kind of puppet mouth.
ah, yes, you're right.
Uh-huh.
Standing up.
Would you
Alright.
mind helping me prepare that, Yuri?
Let me
Yeah.
immediately, as you were saying that, he's already coming over. Let me help with that.
He kind of puts down his soup cup. You know a thing or two about tea packaging?
I know what Milo has shown me. He's
Nah.
he's Milo, you've shown and talked to him about lots of things. He already finds everything you say fascinating, but he tends to get a little lost in his own thoughts. Fortunately, packaging tea is not unlike handling herbs, so he's at least qualified.
That is exactly their thought process.
He kind of looks across. He kind of just waves his hand up. Well, if you're qualified, get going on it.
Holds spouse's hand.
Where would we leave the materials for preparation?
You could well, there's a number of options. Generally, you can set up over here, just like in the central room, since a lot of equipment is located right around here. So generally, you just sort of turn this room into a general packaging site.
I will go ahead and lay out everything, organize it, so it is just easy and simple for us to engage in the packaging process. It's most likely that all of the tea mixes and all of the leaves are here and organized. It is just that they did not remember to package it.
Yeah, that's most likely it. And with that, Kuzo stands up again. Well, let's go. Come on. He kind of shoves at the man's shoulder, kind of stands up. Can't get in their way, right? He stands up and moves back over out this way. And the both of them seem to depart off, leaving you plenty of room left to sort of pick at their packaging. At least, that's what should have happened. But
Oh.
as your father departed, the door closed again, and you notice the man sit down directly in front and start watching the process. Kuzo is a master of tea ceremony and other sorts of sales, and it seems that in this moment, he thought your father might get in the way of these ceremonies, but he might be able to lend a hand via watching very carefully.
Hiyori, who is beginning to drift off into spouse land, is now assaulted from the side by the gaze of judgmental dad.
Which is perhaps exactly why he's here.
Yeah! Honestly, not a bad idea.
He kind of looks across and just sort of taps his finger on the wood impatiently and just watches the process of packaging. I want
Can
you
I
both
roll?
to give me rolls here. Yes,
Yeah!
you both have yeah.
Let's see.
Let's
I
see.
think this would be from your red. So that would be roll to do complex. Choose attribute red.
I feel like Milo would
Oh,
have.
Oh no! The factors have combined!
oh boy. Oh boy.
Normally, Hiyori can get into a good rhythm with his spouse, even if he does occasionally get so carried away that he forgets to keep working. But now, every time he gets carried away, he is conscious of his father's judgmental stare. And this makes the action he was going to take move to the wrong one in a stretch. And eventually, he's just over here in the corner, leaning into the bonsai, looking ashamed.
You end up leaning into the bonsai ashamed as this entire encounter plays out, and eventually you're edged out of the tea making ceremony.
He is totally
Milo.
sulking as he as he pokes at planted sprouts that don't need any actual maintenance.
Milo picks up the remnants of whatever Hiyori had at the very least tried to produce, and just quietly goes,
I guess we'll call this one the Hiyori blend.
He kind of leans over cross and kind of sees that selection. Oh, no, split those up. Those look terrible.
And immediately, he perked up when he said Hiyori blend, immediately sulking again further into the corner.
And eventually, the packaging process takes some time. And after watching for a little bit, eventually he gets so fed up, he starts coming over and lending a hand as well
yeah.
to just get the order quicker across. And as you sort of poke away at that bonsai, eventually you're kind of left just sitting there with empty hands in your own house. And I want you to roll to die for me.
Roll to die. Oh.
I just want to see where you're taken. I see where you are. Okay, yeah. You are your husband's stat side.
So what he's gonna do is he's gonna go stand up after being it's like oh no now she had to get father to help, because it's like immediately goes over to the kitchen and starts getting water for them and just sort of hovering, going in the background like a slightly scolded dog, but can I do anything to help? Can I help?
You end up giving water, and they sort of accept it rather easily, and eventually kind of checking over. You look skittish. What's wrong?
I didn't. I want to help out, Father. I would like. It just started tripping over himself.
You already helped. You got herbs. You got money. Don't do anything else. Why don't you take a nap?
Pouting. But Milo is working.
He kind of checks over. Is just like, He kind of just takes the drink of the water again and slams the cup down. Well, why don't you just, kind of scratches his head a bit. Oh, I know. Why don't you go get boxes and start putting the packages in the boxes? The big ones for carrying on carts.
Yoink yeets to his feet. Absolutely, Father. Good idea. Leans over, kisses spouse on cheek, then hops out, puts his shoes back on, and starts hopping out to go get the boxes.
You do so, running out for a second. Milo, you're left alone with your father, ever so temporarily.
You know, you could just show him how to do it.
He kind of checks up and is like, oh, why?
Well, Hiyori's a good listener.
Maybe to you. He kind of, that boy's mind drifts off quicker than... He kind of thinks a little bit that what's quicker than that boy's mind drifting off. He seems to get caught up on that for a little bit. And then a big dumb smile forms on his face. Quicker than I lose and go. He sort of grabs a box again.
Maybe you wouldn't lose as fast if you didn't make moves so fast.
He kind of turns over. I go as slow as I please, but dinner was coming up. We had to end the game before then, I hate leaving things sitting in progress. He sort of continues, and that seems to check out as he's once more continues shoving tea in the packages.
Much like tea, sometimes things need to sit.
This is absolutely something that he has said to them.
Yes, it is. He sort of ends up quieting up after that until eventually Hiyori, you stumble in, the bell at your door ringing loudly as you kind of income with a big box in between your arms, kind of stumbling loose.
Boxes.
Kicking off the shoes. Hey, oh, be careful with that.
just gonna quickly roll to...
Uh,
Stumbles, barely manages to catch it, thunks onto his knees on the deck, sits there for a second, desperately trying not to make a loud noise in pain, brightens up again. Here we go!
immediately helps him up.
He kind of looks across and, all right, Hiyori, come here.
Coming, father. Do. More careful with the box.
Yeah, he kind of Milo, you wonder if maybe this will be it, as he ends up turning over. Put these in the box.
Immediately brightens up. Yes, father. Very, very serious.
You again
Of course.
start shuffling these little packages of tea inside of the box, and then at a point, he sort of just starts putting in packages as well, and kind of stands up. All right, put that out back. We'll take care of it later. It's a little too late to start shipping things out now.
Yes, it's starting to get dark outside. All right, I'll put it outside. Steps around. You could tell while he was showing him how to put everything away. Hiyori has a tendency when it's just him and spouse to go, "Ooh, what's this? Where's this one from?" And that's often part of why he gets distracted. He sort of just drifts off while she tells him about the origin and where the tea might go. He works hard to keep himself focused while packing this box, though.
So you step outside, put it out back, and then head on in again. And as you do that, you end up stepping in and sort of just checking around the room again and thinking, okay, well, if there's a package delivered, tomorrow might be a little busier. You might actually need to take that all the way down to Imori Village later. That might cut into some... But you also really want to get some of the last herbs of the season before things start changing too much. So it's all... You suddenly gotten pretty busy all of a sudden.
Maybe I can ask Dad to fix the roof with me another day. No, but he'll just go up on his own if I don't help him.
You end up stepping outside once more, moving into the living room, as there seems to just be some idle conversation that ends when you enter, as Kuzo looks at you again. Hiyori.
Yes, father.
He kind of checks across at you again and is just like, Milo wants me to teach you a bit about tea making.
Eyes brighten and immediately has to make himself look serious to tamp down on the excitement. I would be honored, father.
He kind of thinks about that. What's time looking like? He kind of considers in his brain ever so slightly. Package delivery. When are you able to learn?
He thinks about that, going through the not often needed skill of planning his time. Well, if it looks rainy tomorrow, I'll need to help Dad fix the roof. But if it's not, I'll want to go up into the mountains to try and get one more harvest of foxtail. Would the day after tomorrow be acceptable, father?
He kind of considers that. And what about the package delivery?
Forgot completely. That's right, it has to go to Amori. If that needs to be done tomorrow, that needs to be done tomorrow.
Just a week from now.
Thank you very much, father. I'm looking forward to it.
He kind of stands up again, slowly shuffling up apart. Yes. Excuse me.
Moves aside respectfully.
He moves across, closing the door, and it seems after a torrent of things... Yeah,
immediately glomp. Did you talk to him from me?
Yeah.
Milo, I love you so much!
I love you so much, Yuri.
I should mention these two aren't newlyweds. They've been like this for at least a few years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Fucking intolerable. I love them.
That's freaking funny. You both end up giving a big hug, and insufferably and adorably, the both of you spend the rest of your evening like this, talking, chatting, recycling over the same few things, and enjoying a rather provincial, peaceful life. And there, I think, it's a pretty good place to call it for now.
Oh, great dread Kokuten!
Huh?
You are traveling across the vast land of Mitsudai, moving step by step across the lands that you call... what do you call these lands?
Depends on the part of the countryside. Mostly I call them inconsequential.
You move across the most inconsequential of inconsequential lands to someone who would make their home such an inconsequential place. You've been peer pressured to come over here. You've been trying to avoid this for so long.
I have peers?
Yes, they're you. So, oh, dread Kokuten, you stepped across many a brook, across the great, large ex-boyfriend river, and head deeper into the lands of Kanko, across from a land they called Slag, a land that is visible off the coast to a degree. This area of Mitsudai oft left abandoned. Even the road does not stretch across this accursed coast. Yet all the same, one has made their home here almost as a challenge to you. They're hoarding things you want, to be quite frank.
Yeah, I didn't want
And
to cross the ex-boyfriend river.
No. That was the first offense, and there are many more. It's taken you an arduous 2 weeks of navigating traps and barriers until you finally made your way deep inside here. As you move up, stepping up to this bridge, tell me, how do pine bridges, how do you handle that?
Pine... I'll just walk around, it's fine.
You step
Splash!
You step onto the creek, moving your body easily clearing across the river as you move across, seeing this vast, nice
Little
garden.
will stop me.
You move across, feeling absolutely, completely within your rights to step across this foyer, deep into the... Those are pine stairs.
Well, I mean, it's a big house. I'm sure there's lots of ways around.
Okay, well... Oh, hey, it looks like this wood isn't made of pine.
You fool! Constructing a deck up!
And
Pop.
you
Crawl.
moving around all of the side, and like, oh, okay, that's good. There are no windows. There are no other entryways as you scoop all the way around the edge.
Well, what? Who lives in a house with no windows?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that first entry's the only way in. There are some ventilation things, but they're specifically circled with warding and pine.
Well, that's... Yeah, well, that's fine.
You stop, move around. Okay. Well, we'll go to the front door, and
we'll go to the front.
If fortune would have it be good in your favor,
Mhm.
then... Ooh. That thing's probably... Yeah, you round the corner, step past these little pillows assembled out front, and the door is, it's pine.
Oh, yeah, that just makes sense.
There's a little threshold bell that hangs. Does it befit the
well,
Dread Kokutin to knock or ring?
time to ask the girls.
Hey, girl. Oh, you're locked into something already, but that's fine.
Oh yeah. No. Let's see. Okay.
Hey, girls.
Time to build ourselves a strategy here.
Looks like it's in your court, unless.
Burn the house down. That seems like a bad idea. No, we can't go see your ex-boyfriend, the river. Stop asking. Yeah, I know you want to be here the least out of everyone. What do you think? Wow, 2 votes for burning. Okay, I'm gonna knock. We're just gonna reach up and knock, and I rolled highest, so I get to pick.
I love you. Fucking God. You reach up one gnarled hand to, and you don't hear much, as on the other side there's a crack, and the door slowly opens, and you get a glimpse of the inside of this place for a moment as you see it. And
you old fool! You opened the door for me.
you look down. Wait, no. Where is she?
Where is she?
And then you look.
How'd the door open? Is the door just?
You look down at the door, and the moment you do, you look even further down, and
What? What am I looking at?
Eyes of a warrior defending their home.
Get in your hand.
Destroy it. Take it. Go see ex-boyfriend still. Okay, I'm gonna say hi to this thing. She drops to her knees, actually, and drops to all fours and then stares at this creature dead in the face. Who are you?
Silence.
Machi, you've been told to guard these premises while she was away. This is it. You've seen her once before. The Dread Kokutin.
She's wiggling back and forth looking at this creature.
The dangerous beast that threatens my home. The thought crosses my mind. As silence prevails.
So, are you a familiar or something like that? Are you a created thing, or are you your own being?
You see tiny hands grab onto the edge of the door.
Hold on, roll to die to avoid my grasp.
Oh no!
Roll to die. I don't think you just roll 3d6 right now.
Yeah.
And it'll be which one you want to lock in there?
Pretty good.
I'll roll in. I'll roll in a good old Heart of the Warrior here.
Yeah. You go Heart of the Warrior. All the same, you get grabbed and pulled out, and then you're just kind of
Kokutin picks this creature up and it's just like, you are adorable. Do you have a name?
I just think you look at this one, staring.
Are you defending this place? Are you imbued with your own soul, or are you some sort of, are you some forbidden core spirit construction? Come on.
I almost forgot. I need to make everyone in control of Machi.
It's very important.
Yes. Machi, you look up. Machi, what are you gonna do? She's asking so many questions. You can't answer any of them.
So many questions, complex answers, nods or shakes of the head wouldn't answer. If only I had individual fingers to count out the different questions. A gaze of worry follows in these small, beady eyes.
Oh, I understand. You're not gifted with speech. Well, it seems like your job is to protect this place, and I don't want to disrupt that, so let's consider you, drops Manchi on the ground. A very effective ward against the Dread Kokuten. You're doing a fantastic job, little one.
It'll get me every time.
You're standing on the outside now, standing in your warrior's duel against the one in front of you, but it seems that your honor has been respected.
Good.
Kokuten's gonna take another step back. Let me roll to die again. Oh boy. Like you see this creature walk away with a proud look on her face, and then she strides a few back, and across the board, you more than anyone else, it seems like it doesn't matter too much if she breaks character around you. It's just across the board. No, I'm not going to beat this one up. No, seriously, I'm not going to fight this one. Come on. We exist to help creatures without voices, not fight them. I'm glad you're on my side. Stops, turns, looks at the tiny creature. Well, it would be the height of respect if you went and got me some tea or something.
That would be pretty respectful.
That would be pretty respectful.
You have some tea right here that you're boiling, waiting for Ruru to come back. It's literally right there.
Kokuten climbs down and then sits in the middle of the driveway.
The heart of the warrior must respect this honorable deed.
Machi, you go inside, collect a cup of tea, hold it in both hands, and kind of waddle your way back out. And you step, and then... you're gonna have to get down the stairs
You're
again.
gonna have to get down the stairs.
Roll to do for me, Machi.
Can I lock in the heart of a warrior?
Yes. You get that 4. All right, Machi. Describe your excellent stair descending technique you've mastered.
Truly befitting, a legendary cursed creature, monster even. Only the grandest presentation of tea is allowed. Stepping. No, not upon the pined wood. That is not allowed, for that would pay disrespect to this guest. A grand display of balance, coordination, and a flip, as not a single drop of tea is spilled.
Patch the tea and then reach up and deliver a cup.
Kokuten takes the tea and drinks it immediately. Exquisite.
This cup is so small, a single of your finger is like wrapping around the whole.
Yeah! She pinches it between 2 fingers and very slowly drinks. You are quite the capable steward.
The warrior is proud.
Hey,
As very well you should be.
hey, Granny.
Don't you think your talent is wasted in this place?
The moment you say that out loud, you hear a call ringing out from the bridge.
Kokuten! What are you doing here?
Well, I'm trying to recruit some new talent, and you seem to have found yourself quite the capable steward.
New. There's nothing new about Machi.
Cocks an eyebrow.
Oh, you didn't notice.
Mm.
Oh, that's random side. Well, Machi's been with me almost my whole life at this point. How long has it been since I last saw you?
Thinking 30 years, 40 years at this point, I think.
Huh. Could have been longer.
Well, it could have been, but it wasn't. Bring that thing back.
No. You misunderstand. It could have been much longer before I saw you again.
No, not possible. I can't. No. You don't get a decision in such things.
So, what brings you here? Surely not to place another curse on me. That would be breaking your hmm. I wouldn't.
Oh yeah, remind me, how many have I placed on you so far?
99.
Oh, I'm shocked you haven't forgotten.
It'd be impossible to forget.
Oh, well, that's a real shame. No, I stopped by today to see if I could sneak into your little abode, your shack.
Why on earth would you want to do that?
Oh, you're keeping lots of delectable core spirits inside. She sort of leans forward a little bit. Don't you know? I'm the hideous devourer of core spirits, the beast of the night.
Okay, sure.
It only makes sense that I devour your little shack hole. She sits back and then starts drinking her tea again.
Where'd you get that?
Your most capable steward brought it to me. I have to say, this is the finest cup of tea I've had in quite some time.
Machi, did you remember where the poison was?
Shake head no.
You'll get them next time.
In fact, Kokuton places the tea to her lips. The only tea that I've had that tastes actually remarkably similar to this is that made by that white-haired core spirit stabilizer Daisuisen. Downs.
I'm grabbing Machi's bags.
Remember, you can aim up on Granny's icon.
Yes.
What was that?
Oh, no, I just happened to share tea with someone most wonderful who prepared it in a much similar manner to this one.
Well, he did learn from the best.
Cocks an eyebrow.
You know,
Know what?
I have much experience in making tea.
Yes, of course, it shows. Even your little familiar can do a good job of it.
Well, I'm glad you noticed.
She smiles and then, we're gonna, oh god, no. She's like, she's getting along and then, this one flares up for a second and, Kokuton's like, internally, everyone is John rules.
Yeah.
She picks up the teacup and then whips it into the ocean. Not that it pleases me too much.
What a waste of tea.
Oh, I'll admit, tea as fine as this is wasted in a place such as this. Why have you secluded yourself to this miserable little shack in the woods?
I wouldn't call it miserable.
Pathetic? Hovel-like?
Well, it's good I've never taken your words to heart.
Depressing?
I quite enjoy my time here.
A filthy home for rats. She's still going. Oh. She's lounging on the ground as she's talking to.
What, Kokuton? Are you jealous of my home?
Oh, if only you could even make it to mine. It's a mansion unparalleled in all of Mitsudai.
What a shame I can't see it. It's almost like it doesn't exist.
Hold on. No, we're gonna roll the die.
Oh boy.
Oh, it very much exists. In fact, just the other day, it was assailed by a group of dingo travelers from Raoji. Waves a hand around.
Was it?
Yes, it is very real.
Okay.
Yes, you'll have to stop by Kokuten's very real home someday.
Oh,
I'll
are you
close-
inviting me over for dinner, Kokutin? How sweet.
Of course, I'll close the folds behind you so you can never leave.
Well, good luck with that. Certainly failed to accomplish your goals before.
Remind me, what goals were those? She lounges in the opposite direction.
Well, many of your curses didn't tend to stick, but you know, the one where you tried to kill me.
Oh, well, I think all of my curses are doing their job just fine, and you'll die someday, even if it's not today.
Well, it won't be by your hand. I can guarantee that.
Touches down. How can you be so sure?
I've made it this far, haven't I?
Yes, but that spirit won't last forever.
No, everything must die at some point.
Not everything. Cocks an eye open with a mischievous grin.
Well, I've heard, not all gods live forever. Isn't that true?
Oh, of course. But I outlive those godlings by a stretch of tens of thousands of years. Well,
Everyone has their time.
Slides forward again. Well, most of them. My bestie might be even older than I am.
Oh, you have a bestie.
Yes.
Atrocious.
Why? Is it repugnant that I can make friends?
Sure, they have other things to gain.
Yes, like my charming company and delightful laugh. Granny laughs. Kokuten sits there. I have to say, the years have made your laugh all much more mean.
Oh, I can say I've got quite the influence. She looks at you pointedly.
Kokuten lies on her back and points in the opposite direction for a second. It's funny, Kokuten never used to laugh or talk this much.
Yes, it seems even time has brought change to you.
Turns around in this direction. Yes, I've grown far more strong than I was before. I don't
that's
even
what you
think
call
your
it.
little pine box could stop me anymore.
Then why haven't you gone inside yet, Kokutin?
Points at the small one.
Well, not many can match the power of Machi.
Right.
I wouldn't disrespect such a wonderful steward.
I love him.
Iruru pats Machi on the head with a little finger.
The
So-
reward of a good warrior.
Now that I've been perfectly polite, why not giving me a reward for staying outside? I think this'll all be over a lot more smoothly if you just, bring out a core spirit. Bring out the most troublesome one. I'll take them off your hands.
Oh, that would be a problem. None of them are troublesome.
One. Thinking, well, in that case, why don't you give me the one that you want the least?
Also impossible.
You
I
want
love them
all
all.
of them. You're exceptionally greedy. Come on.
Well, when you get older, you get greedier.
I have to say, in that case, the years haven't been particularly kind to you. She lounges back. To tell you the truth, I was considering burning down your little hovel and collecting whatever ran out.
Good luck with that.
Is that a challenge?
Of course not.
She thinks about it pretty heavily and then stands up. Well, hop, moves in this direction, moves over to the door frame. Why don't you invite me inside? I'd love to see the place that you live.
Yeah, Machi.
Here, I'll move you both right now.
Okay.
You
So she walks up to the door. She opens it. She steps inside
Mm-hmm.
and closes the door.
Ah.
Yeah, maybe we should burn it.
Oh.
Stops, moves, body physically ceases moving. Freezes up in place. Well, if we think about it logistically, doesn't this house probably have some sentimental value to the core spirit stabilizer? Yes. Any way you break it down, that will cause some part of a problem. What's the problem? Burn it down, it'll make him cry, it'll be funny. No? That's a problem in itself. You hear this discussion inside.
Oh.
Oh,
Well-
time has really brought change to Kokutin.
Well, in that case, why don't we use a little bit of our... No, you can't cheat like that. Oh, I am the Dread Kokuten. I can cheat however I want. This one thumbs back up to the entrance. Granny!
You can't call me that.
Oh, I believe I can. It's the only name I've known you by.
What?
She states that outright, and you hear from the other side of the door. Hated Iruru. The voice is shifted slightly.
Yes, what is it?
Hold on, let me move back to the one that you are more familiar with. I believe you should open the door before we resort to more drastic measures.
Well, only because you ask so nicely.
Kokutin, you are granted entry into this abode.
Well, that was easy. She walks through the door with a big smile on her face.
Try not to touch anything.
Why are your chairs so small? Your
Well,
doors
most people aren't
too.
quite so big.
She nudges her way into she just starts looking around your house.
Oh.
To think, it's been decades and never once have I gained access to this place before. Truly, this is a great achievement for Kokuten.
You look around that room and you see that it's got signs that someone could be staying there from time to time.
Oh, this is a very cute fan. Whoever is staying in this room has immaculate taste. Moves into this room. Shifts over in this direction. Kokuten is just wandering around your house now.
I believe we have a pest problem.
Oh, I don't see any cockroaches in here. You've kept the place relatively clear.
I
Good
wasn't
job
talking
for a
to you.
mortal. She starts to just piece through. She starts to laugh.
What is it?
I found them. The tea leaves that you were using to make that tea earlier.
Okay.
Truly, my expedition has borne fruit. She picks up the tea leaf and inhales deeply. Oh, I know the exact region that this is from. Now I can make tea just like you.
Sure.
I give this a sec as every
Oh my God!
single other Kokuten starts to beat down the purple one for a second.
And yet purple's strong.
Yet purple's strong. Hold on, she's going to. I mean, yes, I'm here for the core spirit.
Well, Kokutin,
Yeah.
if you're so sure that it's just the tea leaves that make my tea so good, why don't we try brewing 2 batches? It's tea time after all.
internal counsel, she's trying to distract you. Please go downstairs. Please go downstairs to where the core spirits are. Try to stay on mission once, current pilot.
I've got enough teapots.
Oh my god, purple rolls so good, and white
Yeah.
doesn't give a singular fuck. She
Yeah.
wants to see her ex-boyfriend over in that direction.
And when you lock them together, their attribute bonuses equal out, so...
Yeah. You're on. I'd love to show you everything I've learned recently.
Well, good luck with that.
Kokuten of Nothingness leads the way as the 3 remaining Kokutens all throw a fit, but she's rolling too well.
Yeah. She's having too great of a time.
No, she's having a fucking wonderful time here. Kokuten moves into this room and is we're gonna roll with this one. She reaches down with her gigantic form, and with the snap of her fingers, the fire ignites beneath it, this otherworldly flame, as the tea kettle starts to rock slowly back and forth. Time to roll to do. Please, Iruru, destroy that roll for me. Thank you.
Okay.
Roll 1d6 plus, roll 1d20 plus d6 plus 6, we'll say.
Heck yeah. What was 6? Oh, 6.
6?
20.
20. And then attribute bonus would drop. Okay, so yes, you do effectively destroy that roll.
Yes.
My whole my whole reputation was riding on that.
Please narrate how you make better tea than Kokuten.
Granny pulls out another teapot and goes back in here. Your flame's all wrong. She sets it down and pours the water into 2 pretty little cups and brings them back out.
While you're in the other room, Kokuten hears your flames all wrong, and being a goddess of misfortune is at least sort of aware of how bad this is going to go, and leans down to Machi. Hey, help me out over here, okay?
Shakes head no.
Yes.
I am to defend this house, not solely its name.
I wish the most respectable part of you also wasn't the part that's making this very hard for me right now. She reaches over and pats Machi on the head.
A dishonor.
And then moves back and bothers you no more.
Hilariru comes back in and sees Kokuten pat Machi on the head. What did you do to them?
Nothing. Why would I do anything to them?
Narrows her eyes at you.
They're an extremely... This creature is maybe one of the best contributions you've made to the world as a whole.
I can't say anything to that.
Oh, God.
I'm glad we agree on that front. Now let's trade cups.
Internally, I didn't say I agreed. I love Machi, but also I'm not going to talk about Suisun to you. So.
Come on, trade cups. Come on.
She hands one over.
She drinks it. How do we feel about lying today? Oh, this one. Your experience shines through in this regard, but at the same time, had we as many years as you of tea brewing, we would produce a superior blend.
Well, what's your excuse? You're far older than I am.
We have spent significantly less time, however, brewing. the significantly younger one speaks up.
Well, sure. Okay. Whatever you say. She sips her tea.
Ultimately, the quality of tea is determined first and foremost by the company, the presentation, and the respect that you pay forwards to the visiting deity. I will say, this tea is tempered with disrespect. How could it taste good when all of your bitterness spoils the cup?
That's just cruel.
But I must admit, at some level, you do have significant skill in preparing the cup. Kokuten sort of like relaxes back. So, teach me your art.
For what?
For what? What do you mean? Do you expect to gain something from this?
You expect me to just teach you something I've honed?
Let me. Every single one of them. Yes. They are in agreement.
Well, I don't know if I want to teach it to you.
It's not a matter of want. I demand you teach it to me.
What's this? You tried to kill me and now you want me to teach you things?
She sees no problems with what you just presented. Kokuten just blinks and then nods, yes.
Machi, what would you do?
What would Machi do? Roll 3d6.
So
Oh,
Heart of the
yellow.
Warrior
What
is
does
the
that
highest.
mean? Heart of the Warrior is red. What is yellow?
Whatever you want it to be in this moment, I'd say.
Nods.
Okay, I've got it. I'll teach you how I make tea, but you leave here with nothing else.
Then I will leave with the greatest prize of all. Roll to die. Roll to die. They all. They all beat the shit out of each other for a second here. This one continues rolling good though. Wait, no, this one wins out.
Yeah.
In that case, I would love to hear your tales of the core spirits. You said that you like them all, correct?
I do.
Then, as you teach me this art, explain to me about every single one of them.
I suppose I could do that.
This one moves across and then opens the door. And it, like, the energy of Kokuten has shifted entirely, focusing on this form. As she opens the door, she looks over to the passageway to down beneath and sort of exhales and moves over in this direction. It seems that the tea brewing itself is imperative to my continued existence, so I think it's important that I learn it now. Similarly, she remains eyes trained on the door. The way that you've treated core spirits, while not personally something that I agree with, has never been not amenable to my worldview. I don't believe them to be imprisoned in this place, which is why I've allowed this little asylum of yours to exist for as long as it has.
Is that a compliment?
This one over here. Compliments are granted to those who earn them. In a rare case, yes, you will be granted a compliment when your action is worthy of it.
I believe you've just said my actions are already worthy.
More than that, it's the actions of the little ones you keep below. We hear no pain or anguish in this place, and as such, deem it to be an allowable existence. We would have grown a ring of dandelions and scorched this place to the ground had you been mistreating them. But, on the other hand, relaxes back. It seems like everything's fine. Everything's fine, and you're going to teach me how to make tea. Playing this character rules. This
It's
is
so
fun.
fun. It's so
This
cool.
is so fun. I get
love
to
it.
hit roll to die and swap between different people.
It's so cool. 5 characters at once.
Irudu walks over and starts to show her process for making tea, and then stops for a moment. And you said something about tea being crucial to your existence now. What?
Mhm.
What?
Oh, yes, nothingness is in control. She can lie about this. Or I guess be honest. Right now, it's imperative that I learn the proper art of tea presentation. The last time I attempted it, I made the target, the brow furrows, the subject of who I wanted to serve tea to, vomit uncontrollably.
What? Wow.
I may have tried to fry it in my cursed flame.
Did say your flame's all wrong. I'll start with that. Don't use your snap.
I have godly powers. There's no way that I am constructing this flame wrong. I just need to study yours a little bit better.
Well, I could show you the easiest way to make a flame. The right way is to just she strikes.
You strike the match, and Kokuten starts to act rather unusual again, looking very close at it. Her gigantic frame just absurdly close to the flame, it glittering off of her eyes. And you watch as she extends 2 fingers, picks it up as if it were an object, places it in within her mouth, and swallows.
Well, that's unique.
I think I could do this. Boom! The same flame, except rimmed in purple this time, reappears. Okay, I believe I've mastered the first step.
Okay. She continues to show her the steps for making a nice pot of tea.
The entire time, Dread Kokuten is cackling. It's honestly kind of an upsetting experience. Give me a roll to do to see how good you teach Kokuten.
Okay. Just a d20 then.
Yes.
Here we go.
Oh,
Ooh,
damn.
Not bad, no.
Okay, Kokuten, let's respond to Iruru's teachings. It's just
Ooh.
like, it's
If
just
you
pretty
add
good.
that 6 and then a 1d6 to that one, then that would
This
be.
is pretty okay.
Yeah, you're not
She does like
master
fine.
yet, but you did pretty fine.
Your secrets are mine, old lady.
I mean, is it a secret if I willingly told you?
Oh, no. She stands up. This is a very important art shared between very few people. Therefore, I'm in on a secret that very few others are. The hidden god would value this one greatly. She folds her hands and looks incredibly proud of herself.
Oh, I believe the hidden god probably knows this one already.
I asked. She says, turning through the door. I asked. Their agent said no. Starts to move back over this way. And then sort of pauses near the door and turns around again. We're gonna see who has something to say to you. Oh, okay, and this one, of course. The more intense vibe spreads throughout the room again. And looks. Your life will only remain so long. What do you intend to do for those below once it finally expires?
I'll find a proper place for them.
Thinking, rolls to do. Let's hit this button. This shape seems to flare up around you. Find a proper place. With the way that you've conditioned them, don't you understand? This is their proper place now. She flutters around the room, floating like a flag. Unless you intend to change their very nature, they're contingent on your own existence. If
Don't you worry. I've been with them long enough to know where they could go. But I won't be telling you.
takes a step backwards. Core spirits are creatures that exist at their very core to make up those indiscernible parts of the world without your eyes left to observe them. I'm sure you'll find a nice burial point or two for them. They'll disappear into coffins the same as you. This form shifts around the room again. But at the same time, they won't be the same beings that they were with your life. Your constant observance, the life you share with them is the life they lead. They may be happy now, but that happiness will only last as long as your own life does. She points again, this time very pointedly. Don't say something as selfish as, when I die, I'll find a better place for them.
Well, I won't do it when I die. It'll be before. It'd be kind of hard.
Moves back up. You don't understand. The best place for them is with you, so don't give it up so easily, okay?
Well, I didn't give them to you, did I?
Roll to die. Hold on. Roll to die. Oh boy, this one, like it. The form shift. This one's like, I wish you did. For a split second, and you feel the weight of the one that cursed you shift back to the one that came before. It's like, well, I didn't give them to you, did I? In the future, when you're a little more than dust on the wind, I want you to be acutely aware of the fact that I will be the one recollecting these creatures to make sure that they find a new home. Your mortal dalliance, for now, has bought them years of happiness, and for that I can be grateful. But your irresponsibility to the world at large will cause more pain in the future. The form billows and builds out in front. And finally settles back.
Well, it's always a pleasure, Kokutin.
Understand where you stand, Core Spirit Stabilizer.
I believe it's in my house.
Stops. Rolls again. I believe that's the case. Also, thank you very much for teaching us how to brew tea. Interruption, different train of thought plows through the first one, causing it to completely collapse. It was a very nice visit. Oh, what was that habit mortals did? Walks over to the door, bows deeply, and like it is overblown. The tails floof out and come down. And yeah, that's weird. That's new. That's very different.
As Kokutin leaves, Granny in the background, she doesn't say this to Kokutin, she says it out of earshot, and she just kind of questions us.
Kokutin moves off in this direction. Oh, for fun's sake, Kokutin, even in the years past, always used the royal we. Like,
Okay.
she's very aggrandizing in general. It just has a new context. Kokutin moves away. Well, The tea brewing arts are mine now, so I should be able to pull it off next time without a hitch. Hops down, starts to move in this direction. You all seem to have issues with her. She seems perfectly nice to me. As this one moves away, and then down the line in order.
Oh my god.
I love this. Okay. This one first. She's a worthy rival and opponent. She presents a different worldview and pushes us to do better with ours. All things considered, there need to be more people in the world like her, but I'm afraid the mortal realm produces very few of them. Than this one. She's a despicable wretch. Her time on this world should be passing soon. We'll be picking apart her bones and taking away that which she was too cowardly to give up herself. This one. A mournful creature at the end of the day. My heart goes out to her and all that she's lost. I believe our cruelty may have even gone too far for that one. Then this one quietly in the background. She misunderstands her place in the mortal world. She places herself too big. She believes the core spirits to be her friend, but nothing can bridge that divide. Plenty can bridge that divide. Thank you very much. Putting herself back together. In fact, I believe I have found the next step to bridging that very same plane.
You step on the pine and immediately explode and fly out of it. And that call this one to an end. Hey,
Yeah.
You're holding on to this apple.
Mm-hmm.
You think this might be it. As river rapids spill around you, a small collective community of people all standing around this area. Leaving is impossible. You hold onto the apple and twirled around in your fingers, looking at in all parts. Yes, this is the apple. You, sitting perfectly legs crossed, holding this thing in your hand, someone speaks up directly in front of you. A person who is curiously watching you during these moments. Let me just... Oh? What? Ooh. Tasty snack?
This person kind of just like holds the apple in his like both of his hands as this person like tries to like start talking to him, and he just steadily ignores this man in front of him, still gazing at the apple. Tell me, what is this apple?
This apple is... Do you know what infinity is?
Yeah.
This apple is the closest thing you've seen to infinity. And you imagine, although it primarily is formed upon this apple, it stretches out to the whole area surrounding you, which would explain the hysteria. Ever so silent hysteria, but all the same. In every direction, all of these people move about, living on this small collection of rocks, but all of them continually, consistently feel frightened, afraid, manic. And yet, they were so inviting at first. Laughing, waving, welcoming all inside of their little community at first glance. The man looking across at you. Are you Are you not going to eat it? He seems curious about you and your lack of easily exposed face.
He looks up and looks this man dead in the eyes. At least the man thinks he is. And looks back down at the apple, kind of rubs it a bit with his thumb. No, I do not tend to eat such a thing.
Oh, well, I'm a bit peckish if I could take a bite.
Momozawa looks at this guy who is slowly approaching him. What does this guy look like? Tell me, up and down.
He is stocky, I'd say. Decently large in terms of height. He has well-kept hair that seems to be wrapped up, though also seems to be fraying under the heat. A large backpack is positioned on his back, and his expression is something of a calm, frightened man. Someone who is so easy to keep composure, yet so easy to be afraid of something. A spineless rat, but perhaps with a sage's knowledge.
This guy starts scooting up to him. He's like, "Oh, can I have a bite of that apple, please?" And then Momozawa looks up at him. No.
He stops. And oh, of course, if it's your apple, then. He sits back, staring directly across at you, kind of looking back and forth.
Momozawa looks back down the apple. Is it my apple?
Is it not? It is not your apple. Actually. This is not your apple. No, I don't think so. You found this apple sitting over in the corner, over here. It was sitting amongst the food supplies. Curious thing, this apple. After all, it's almost a fitting enough punishment and curse, but also an infinite blessing. This apple... You have an idea. Roll a die for me.
Okay.
Ooh, okay. So, what stat would you say is most reflective of your ability to analyze situations, to understand the mysterious?
I would go with this one.
So, this apple, it is the closest thing to infinity. No matter what happens to this apple, it would most likely stay one piece, always segmenting. In fact, you reach your two thumbs to the top of the apple and, gripping tightly, pressuring it, you snap it in half. And holding both sides, the man in front of you, he kind of looks down at your the apple, splitting it in half. I see. Change your mind? Gives you a forced smile.
The Momozawa looks down at the split in half apple, almost waiting for something for a second.
Yeah, you do. And the apple slowly almost seems to remold itself. One apple fully reforming, the other split in half, not. It seems as though the apple that reformed is the real one. Being cut in half, what defines the real one is not quite sure. But it is that one.
An almost light chuckle comes from underneath Momozawa's mask as Momozawa holds the both the half slice and the full apple in his hand, and he looks back up at this man. Tell me, is this your apple?
No, I don't believe it is, but he kind of looks at it. But if you would be... And he stops and he sees the reformed apple, and he kind of leans in a bit more, scooting in a little closer. My God. What has happened to this apple?
Momozawa actually reaches out his the hand that does not have the apple in it and scoots this man backwards a bit.
He gets scooted backwards a little bit. Right. My apologies. This apple. What's the deal with it? It seems rather strange. Could it perhaps be a yokai?
Momozawa looks at the apple and contemplates for a second. It is very simply just infinity. I have discerned that much as it is right now.
Very simply infinity?
Yes.
Perplexed by this.
Tell me.
Huh.
He holds out both of his hands, one having the full apple and one having the half apple. If you had the option of one or the other, which would you take here? If I offered you the half apple slice or the full apple, which one would you take? You may only pick one.
Oh, well, I would pick the full apple. More of a meal.
I see. Any reason beyond that?
Well, he kind of contemplates on that a little bit, thinking for a while. I suppose if I know now, it is because I've seen that apple regenerate. I know I could eat it forever if I so chose.
I see. Now, let me ask you this question. Momozawa takes the apple and splits it in half 2 more times.
Oh. He kind of watches, and now there are 3 split apple pieces, halves, and then 1 full apple that reforms.
Now that you see these 3 split apples and this 1 full apple, you can choose. Would you take these 3, or would you take this 1 whole?
I would simply choose the first one, because it would be... He stops and then realizes, oh, I understand now. I would select that apple because it would be infinity. It would be all the apple slices I wanted, forever, if I so choose.
I see. Tell me, what would you do if you were to lose this apple along the road if you were to take it?
Oh, well, I would have to
Say,
go...
for example... Completely ignoring this man.
Yeah.
Say, for example, that you were to only rely on this apple for sustenance for enough time. Say, for example, that you were to forego any other items within your baggage or carry-on, for if you just had this one apple, why, you could probably fit so many more merchandise items and more water, more anything else you need. This apple is the only food item you would need. But what happens if you, I don't know, take a trip and the apple stumbles out of your package, or maybe a rogue animal comes through and rifles through your package and steals it away? What would you do after that? Alone on the road with no provisions other than the water and the items you have on you?
He sweats a little bit. Well, I suppose I would starve, wouldn't I?
You would indeed. Let me ask you this. Who are you?
Oh, my name is Yukitake. I am a master of ambrosia from Raoji, traveling across the lands. I seem to have been stuck in Mitsudai for years now, for some reason. He sort of scratches at his cheek. I've had many starving nights on the road, and I believe with apple or no apple, I would certainly be starving either way.
Oh. Are you starving right now?
He kind of looks down at the apple and looks up. Perhaps.
Perhaps. His
Yes.
head tilts slowly to the right.
I am quite hungry. I've been here for 2 days now? Kind of looks around.
A master of ambrosia such as yourself is unable to find food. Especially in a bustling town such as this.
He kind of looks around at the assembly of shacks. I don't I don't know if I trust the people here. He kind of leans in a little closer. I mean, how can we trust them? They lured us in, after all. This is technically true. After all, the moment you stepped on these little mini rock faces upon this bustling river state, the rapids pushing all the way across, you have been unable to leave. Every time you do attempt to step off these rocky surfaces, move away and back to the main shore, a wave splashes too hard, knocking you down under the rapids, threatening your life and forcing you to sit once more on this spot. This is something that these people knew when dragging you in, and it seems that Yukitake has been especially frustrated about this. He's gone paranoid.
I see. I suppose that can be understandable. However, have you even made an attempt to speak with these people? I certainly haven't.
He kind of stops and hangs his head a little bit. Afraid not, no.
You there. He calls out to this person right there.
Yukitake almost shoots up a little bit as the guy on the side. Yes. Well, how goes it?
Come here.
Kind of shuffles up, putting his hands together and ingratiating himself to the new people. Hello there, and he kind of stops and looks down, sees the apple, and then immediately shifts his head away. What can I do for you?
Afraid of the color red, are you?
I'm not afraid of the color red, no.
I see. Then what is it you're afraid of? Is it
He kind of
me?
stops.
Is it him? Or is it this? Or is it the fact that I have this? Or mayhaps it is the fact that we have chosen to sit in this spot?
He stops. Make me roll to do.
You got it.
Okay, let me roll something. Oh, wow. So, balanced. You.
Oh, I just realized
speak
I actually get a
out loud.
buff to that.
Oh, yeah.
I just
So-
get a +1.
When. Oh, now they're both
Damn.
even numbers. Excellent.
Yeah.
When you speak that out loud, he sort of quiets up a little bit as he's like, he kind of scoots in just a little bit, dipping his head down low and sort of whispers, listen, you, me, and him are all on the same side here now, so why don't you just put that back and don't get rid of that. Just please don't let the apple go. Look,
Why shouldn't I?
he
He
points at
says,
the course.
suddenly tossing the apple around in his hands.
Please stop. He stops as he kind of like tries to reach his hands out to grab it. Here, let me just do a little roll really quick. Roll to die for me. Oh,
Oh, wow. He rolled pretty good. I'll do a roll to dice. Oh, whoops. I should have a +1 to that. Momozawa's going to do something dumb here.
yeah.
Momozawa's actually going to lock out one of his dice right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to lock out his blue. Wait. Oh, whoops. I accidentally locked in my blue. Whoops. Let me
Yeah.
relock in red and then lock out blue. There we go. He locks out blue, and as this guy goes in for the thing, he places a talisman on this man's chest, locking out this man's blue as well.
You lock this man out of his color, and he no longer seems to be able to function as he just kind of stops, freezes almost. He enters a stunned state for a moment as he stops, and the apple, which was almost in midair in this moment, you just catch it in your hand. The man stopping. It's you, the cores. You've already split it in half. You see it, don't you? That's our only reliable food source here. If you throw that away, then we'll be starving for sure.
Momozawa immediately actually rips off the talisman that he just put on this person, unlocking this man's blue stat. Momozawa is going to keep his blue stat locked though, for the time being. He goes, oh, okay. Well, this helps certainly quite a bit. I see, I see. He starts mumbling to himself again and again. He actually kind of like scoots this way a little bit, and he once again holding his apple in his hand. Your only food source, tossing it up and down his hand. Tell me,
Uh,
have you ever died before?
no.
I see, I see. He pulls out a tea set from his bag and places the tea set down in the middle of these three. Tell me, do you two enjoy tea?
Yukitake kind of checks, looking either way. Yes, I enjoy tea. Quite much.
Very interesting. Very good. How about you?
The man stops, looks either way, and simply says, I don't partake. I think I'll go grab. I think I'll go do something else. He sort of starts backing away.
Why not?
He almost freezes on the spot. I'm not in the mood for tea right now.
Why not?
Roll a do for me.
You got it. I'm gonna add a +1 to this.
He stops. He kind of stares. And he sort of trudges on up and sits on down. I suppose it would be rude for me to not even try the tea.
Very good. Momosawa's voice lightens up for a second as he reaches behind him and pulls out a tea set and then kind of backs up and places it down, having the apple sit dead center within the assembly of this entire weird tea set he's building. He begins doing all these things. He begins placing down a pot. He begins to heat it. He pulls out a flask and pours some water into it. He pulls out 3 cups and puts them in front of each person. Then he pulls out a small wooden plate and places it down directly in front of the pot. And he reaches out into his satchel and pulls out 3 sugar cubes and places them each down in perfect symmetrical order on the plate. As he waits for the tea to bubble and boil. As soon as the kettle goes off, he pours each person an equal-sized glass, and then he leans in. Now, please, add your sugar.
Of course. Each of these two grabs the sugar cube and puts
Which
it
one does it first?
Yukitake.
Yukitake, roll a 1d3, please.
Okay. 1.
Okay. Other person roll a 1d2, please.
Okay.
Okay. Momozawa takes the last sugar cube remaining, and they all pluck their sugar cubes into the tea and they begin stirring with the very nice spoons that Momozawa has provided each of them. Now, I do hope you are fine with just 1 cube.
I will make do.
Very good. Momozawa immediately takes a sip of his. Yukitake, do you take a sip of your tea?
Yes, he takes a sip of his tea. And the
It's
other
very
splendid.
nice.
Ah.
It's very nice, very sweet.
Splendid. I haven't had tea this good in, goodness, months perhaps? The other one, seeing each other kind of drinking at the same time, he kind of takes an eye at the mask that he has while he puts the drink up to his lips and takes a sip.
It doesn't taste like anything.
He kind of looks down. I don't taste anything.
Oh, that's rather unfortunate. Mine is quite awful, actually. After all, I put salt in mine.
Oh, really? Well, I
Yes.
suppose, Yukitake thinks, oh, this just tastes like sugar.
Yes, that is correct.
What's in mine?
Oh, poison.
He stops. Excuse me?
Yes.
Excuse me? Poison?
He immediately spits it out and like stands up, pulling back from the tea set for a little bit. He starts choking ever so subtly. No.
Quite a subtle one. Just a ground up flour. You'd be surprised. Doesn't taste like much, but it does burn a little going down.
Almost reacting to that sensation, he grabs onto his throat, stumbling back and almost tangling up in the ropes ever quickly as the man starts trying to choke out a scream and flee while everyone else starts watching in this random display. Yukitake looks kind of surprised at that as the man almost stumbles his way down, falling down and reaching onto a boat and starting to like grasp for other people to try to help. At a certain point, the rope starts to become undone on this boat, and everyone in the bottom row is rustling, trying to stop the boat itself from pulling away. Yukitake looks up and stares directly at you as the commotion continues on down there. What? Poison?
Yes.
Yukitake sweats. Truly?
Yes. Why would I lie? After all, he's already gone. You're
He
quite
stops.
lucky today, Mr. Yukitake.
Yukitake sweats ever so obviously, actually, as he stares directly across at the person who just poisoned the other tea guest. Was that a random distribution?
Oh, yes.
I see. Well then, what an interesting idea for a tea party.
Are you afraid of me, Mr. Yukitake?
Oh, of course not. I would never
You can be honest with me. I can tell.
Perhaps fear is an emotion in my mind and my heart, but it is not right of me to deny the kindness of a stranger when I got a wonderful sugary cup of tea.
I see. Very interesting. Momozawa's swing drops for a moment as he picks up the apple once again,
He's tugging
tossing
at
it
his
in the air.
Yeah, he's tugging at his jackets as he watches you almost stabilize there. So, well, Yukitake is making more distance between the both of you. I do believe perhaps it would be viable if for he seems to just keep muttering as he's trying to find specific words. What if we do you have a way out of here?
Well, Momozawa stands up, still holding the apple in his hand. Can you give me control of the apple, please? So I can drag it around with me?
I will give you control of the apple. Hang on. You have control of the apple.
Thank you very much. Momozawa stands up. Well, I suppose it's about time we pay a visit to our dear partner in tea. He walks down here, still carrying the apple in his hand.
Yukitake looks at you walking, turns back, looks at the camp, turns back to Momozawa, the man who just poisoned someone, and then turns back to the camp. And he just kind of releases a deep sigh for a moment as... well, might as well.
Yay!
Yay! Follows loyally behind you like a dog.
Momozawa stands here still tossing the apple in his hand, watching this man who he just poisoned. What's happening with this man?
He's having a panic attack. He's absolutely consumed by fear, perhaps not even the poison right now.
I see. He's watching and watching. He notices this this part of the boat that was slowly getting untied here. And he just really quick roll the die. Oh boy. He locks in. He's going to once again lock in his red. And he takes a few steps forward and kind of scoots past this yellow person here, and kind of leans down and looks at the man in the boat choking out, then looks at this rope dangling here, and almost instantly from his sleeve a sword just kind of shoots out of it, cutting into the boat's rope.
Oh, you cut
Should
into
I?
the boat's rope. This actually, I think, comes free in this case, as everyone's a bit too surprised. As you cut the rope and the boat is immediately undone and everyone starts floating out, the two people on the boat start freaking out as this one looks almost shocked at you. And Yugitake just starts pulling at the back of his robe ever so slightly and kind of pulling him back. And they get in the sort of a bit of a tussle back here for a moment as you successfully cut the rope.
Momozawa watches as these two people drift off into the lake. Tell me, what happens when they reach a certain length away?
When they reach a certain length away, it seems as though the boat starts getting hit by rapids and they almost start getting tossed down and around. And the rapids end up pushing them and pressing them and almost sort of causing them to fly on back in this direction. Though, because of the intensity, it's not quite sure if they'll make it back here alive before they get back.
I see. Momozawa takes the apple and then turns around and keeps walking this way. Yukitake, come with me.
In the middle of kind of scrapping in a really dumb fight with this person, he almost tried to disengage, and holding just some object like piece of wood he found, he kind of holds it on the back and the other person's holding it there too. And eventually he disengages when he just shoot. They're floating back. Go get them. Go get them. He tosses the wood and just sort of runs back in this direction. And the man makes a call in that moment to eventually run back and try to ferry the people back on once their boat comes tumbling back.
Very interesting. Momozawa, kind of one still tossing the apple in his hand, truly does appear that not even the people here can escape. So if that is the reason, then why would they lure people here?
He wonders a bit. Well, they did ask if we had any food for the global stocks. Maybe, or things. I don't know. They have plenty of food. I mean, he pokes at the apple. Perhaps they're lonely?
Yes. They seem like they'd be quite upset if I lost this. After all, appears to be their only source. Momozawa completely ignoring when Take said, "Perhaps they're lonely."
Yeah.
No. Mayhaps. Momozawa leans in, looking at the apple. What do you offer them? His head turns.
You stare at the apple. And as you do it, you feel a shifting and a turning within the apple itself. This apple, when you look at it, you can almost see the glimmer for a moment. That which is infinity. The core spirit emblazoned on it.
I see. Very interesting indeed. He holds out this apple once again and kind of actually just like lets it almost float a bit, watching it, and as he takes a step to the side. Very, very interesting.
What is it? Oh, Yukitake stops as you notice a rustling as people pulling themselves through ropes as they try to rustle their way back up here. You!
Yes.
What do you think you're doing?
Well,
He points over. He said you poisoned him.
I did.
They stop and listen, just because you're new here doesn't mean you can go around and messing with us. You might be some kind of weird swordsman, they say incorrectly. But
oh, he actually corrects them completely. I am no swordsman. I am merely a core stabilizer.
What? actually,
Surprised you haven't heard of that before.
one of them
How
does speak up.
old are you?
Old. I'm 23.
I see.
Yugi
What about the guys that
bite
speak
one
up?
of the discarded apples. What were you saying?
Well, what was the guy who I interrupted about to say?
Oh, he says, wait a minute, I've heard of core stabilizers. Aren't you some kind of magic doctor, man?
A doctor?
You go around and ending curses. So what exactly your deal? I don't believe you're a core stabilizer for a second. You've done nothing but hurt us since you arrived.
Oh, unfortunately, your views of what a man can be is quite narrow, if that's the case. But I suppose being trapped on a rock like this for so long would do that to you. Momozawa holds out the apple that is the core of their very home in his hand. Tell me.
They all seem to shift around, looking intently at the apple.
Please do tell me. Would you take, he splits the apple in half, this half of the apple, or the whole?
They stop and look, and all of them intently look at the whole of the apple. The whole. So why don't you give it over?
He almost,
falling-
what's up?
I don't think they get it. He kind of leans. Yukitake leans over to you, like he's expert of this specific quandary after having experienced it once.
Unfortunately, I believe they perfectly understand it.
He looks confused.
Momozawa locks into black in this moment and looks at all three of them. So, you still desire infinity? Very well then. An almost wry smile plays underneath Momozawa's mask. Using his locked out blue stat, he locks out a random stat from this core spirit.
Ooh, okay, well, I know that this core spirit only has one stat. It's all it needs. So when you do this, you immediately go and lock out the stat of this core spirit, and immediately the thing just almost seems to dissipate out from the actual apple itself. And in your hand, you simply hold an apple.
Momozawa tosses it up and down in his hand, very steadily, very wryly. Well then, here you go. Tosses it to the man who he poisoned.
The man catches it and kind of pulls it away, as the others kind of protect him around that as well, as they sort of look and are like, all right, well, no more funny business.
Okay. Yukitake, let us go.
Huh? Go?
Yes.
Yukitake stops, kind of moves over, looks to the side, grabs one of the apple slices that you deposited off the ground, and kind of takes another bite, finishing up the apple, concluding that bite, and kind of stumbling away. You have a pleasant day now. You both step across the waters, the rapids shifting underneath your feet, yet all the same you step across easily, simply. The eternity granted here shifting ever so subtly, but a spirit that has not been fully exercised. In fact, will be back. All of those who wish to leave in this moment could have chosen to do so, but most, accepting the unfortunate circumstances of their entrapment, never even tried. You stumble off, Momozawa, being flanked by this strange, shabby dog man as you stumble off away from this location. I think that's a good place to call that one. All right.
Nice.
Running on through a town, moving with much speed. A child. Oh, let me actually ping that in the right layer. The child is making her way quickly up to see someone. She moves directly on through, looking across directly past all the assembled buildings, sort of skipping along the dirt and moving on up deeper into the woods. A trip she takes all the time. She marks her path forward. She heads past some of the thorny brush, making sure to be extra careful. And she finds her way to the clearing that many children of the woods, many children of the village visit. Stepping up, the high trees letting just a little bit of sunshine sprinkling through. She makes her step on through, steps on a branch or two, and then runs up. Tadao! I'm here! And sitting directly on top of his stone, with sun rays beaming through the trees. Tadao, you wake up from a pleasant nap.
Tadao sits there, probably cross-legged, brushing a few leaves off of his shoulders as he gives a good smile.
I didn't think you'd be up this early.
I didn't think so either, but I was, so I decided to come on by. She kind of moves on over to the side. Hang on. She hops on, moves up and shimmies up here, and then sits on top of the tree trunk. We had to wake up today because the inn burned down, so we had to start taking stuff out and all that.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah,
Absolutely
I guess
dreadful.
it happens all the time. I think it's not like burned down; it's just burned up a bit. So like a room burned away, the kitchen and all that. And that's my day. What about you?
You know me. I spent time listening, waiting.
Listening to what?
The world.
The world, huh?
Yes.
What's the world say?
I feel like I'm not quite sure anymore. It's been a long time since something crazy has happened. And after a while, it all just blends together.
He kind of thinks about that, or she kind of thinks about that as she kind of leans. What do you? So, you mean nothing's happening, basically, right?
It's almost the opposite. There is so much happening in the world, and sometimes it's just hard to pick out what's different, you know?
No. Nothing really happens over here. It's really boring a lot of the time. I wish something fun would happen.
Sometimes it's... Don't take the quiet times for granted.
She kind of considers that a little bit. So it's why? Like, I don't get it. What's so good about quiet times? Usually whenever it's quiet, everyone comes on by and asks me to do work. So it sounds like quiet time just means working time.
He stops for a second, thinking, chewing on his little chew toy, and looks out. When things are hectic, when things are dangerous, when things are exciting, you don't have much time to think about things like
you don't get time to rest or sit and talk with me. There are other things to do, other things to worry about. In times like this, you can think.
He kind of thinks about that. So, She kind of like, just slumps down. What's there to think about? Because, I mean, I can think a little bit about stuff, but, I mean, if there's nothing going on, there's nothing to think about, so why?
Well, depending on how you feel, there are many things you can think about. You can be an old man like me and think about thinking itself. Or you can think about things like what makes you happy, what makes others sad, how to be the best version of yourself, and think about the things you love.
He kind of contemplates that a little bit. So, just think about stuff that makes me happy?
Yes.
I do that all the time. I hate it because I always think of what makes me happy when I'm doing work. Or when Coco drags me out to do boring lessons. So, Coco did teach me how to breathe.
He raises an eyebrow.
Watch. She kind of stops, straightens up, and she starts just silently breathing. This is pretty nice. It's like you immediately pick up just talking about more like meditation breathing.
Yes. Meditation. That is also a way of... in a way, it's the absence of thinking.
She kind of thinks about that a little bit. So, but I thought thinking was good.
For regular people, yes. But there are times when you need to be present in the world as it is now. Meditation is good for centering yourself. Here, he points at the ground. You feel the ground beneath your feet, your own body.
She's kind of like, thinks about like, so I just gotta, okay, so am I supposed to not think or think?
He stands up and just letting the breeze pass through him, goes,
that is up to you to decide. Letting yourself feel is one of the things that took me many years to understand. Being free to think or not think. Be able to feel pain, happiness, sadness. That is something that can often be taken for granted. Think about this. When you're hurt, the only thing that you think about is the pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when others are hurt, that's the same. You think about them being in pain. You think about the danger that they're
in. Kind of thinks about that. Let me roll the die for this one. Why don't you give me? You're not plugged in. Just give me a 1d20 plus 6 plus like a 7.
Nice.
And see if you can beat this literal child.
Let's see.
Yes. All right. You start to get. She kind of thinks about it a bit, and she sort of sits there and thinks, and kind of leans on her hand a little bit. So, okay. I guess I get it. I think. I'm spending all this time thinking about it, but that's good because it means I get to figure it out. Like, I guess I should think for now. I don't really know how to. Not thinking's pretty easy, so thinking might be what I try.
Yes. You
'Cause
have
I think
time
you said,
to think.
yeah. I remember. She kind of scoots up a little bit. I remember that thing you said. You said, or what? She kind of looks. She second guesses herself. She said, you were Coco. One of you said, always look to aim to solve the hardest problem first, so that you may rest on the easier ones.
He doesn't make any gesture whether it was him or
She stops and then kind of makes the face. Come on.
The words of wisdom does not change how poignant they are. Whoever made them, whoever said them, does not change what they mean.
She makes a face like she wishes with you just because she respects you more, but also has to admit that she thought about it and got excited about it, despite, not knowing. So she kind of just leans over to the side. All right. Kind of like scoots over to the side a little bit and kind of looks off in the woods a little, putting her hands on the tree trunks. So, it's my birthday coming up.
Oh, already?
She kind of turns over. Would you be able to come over for it?
he looks hesitant for a little bit. There's some. He sort of listens to the forest around and goes, I've been sitting here for quite some time. Perhaps a break might be in order.
She smiles, knowing that no one's ever really dragged you out from this spot in the long time you've been here. She pops up and can't even hold her excitement as she kind of moves across the kind of thorny brush, and she holds up. Really? You'll do it?
Time is passing faster and faster. I did not think that.
He reaches down and pats the head.
The ears shift around your fingers ever so slightly.
You're larger than I thought.
He, for a second, opens his eyes and blurrily looks, seeing a form that he can make out, but details are murky.
She looks up, seeing your eyes, seeing everything. Okay. Then I guess, okay. That's in a couple of days. 4. So don't miss it. You gotta start counting days again.
I will. I would not miss it for the world.
She smiles up at you, giving you a big dumb toothy grin. And then, almost kind of breaking through, a crunching sound of feet on the grass, almost seeming to crack every branch as she walks. Moving on up through the path, she stumbles directly down here. And
to Dow's clearing.
yeah, you're looking for Ina, who's skipping on your lessons. Yes.
she sees Tadao with Ina, so at the very least, she's in good hands.
Hey,
Coco, yeah.
Tadao, you notice the new acting village elder of the town after the unfortunate accident that befell one of your older friends. She stumbles up, looking disheveled as always, that cloak of bad luck hanging off her back, which you know quite clearly. You wonder how many times she got lost looking for this place.
Did you make it here all right?
Thanks. Let me just check. Okay, Yes, actually.
Oh. Hmm.
Yes, actually. I was able to follow the trail of destruction from the last time I came here.
He furrows his brow. That's still around.
Yeah. I don't even know where that boulder came from.
Maybe I should get out more.
So, suddenly running down, Ina moves up. Coco!
Yes?
Tadao's coming to my birthday!
You are?
Coco looks very excited.
He sighs. Yes. It's the least an old dog can do.
Yes.
Ina nods her head excitedly. Okay. I think, that's 4 days. She puts up the hand again.
Yes.
I'm already counting.
Look at you, convincing Tadao to come to town.
She kind of steps off to the side, pretty proud of herself. You know also, she's probably been here for as long in the morning as she can. She probably let Tadao get some rest. Though first, you need her to go off on her own first, since if she tries to walk back with you, you're both gonna get lost.
Yes. Now, okay, I will say, there's another fallen tree on the path, but it didn't hit me in any means.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I also don't think any of the branches were, like, sticking up or anything. You should be able to jump it, is what I'm saying.
All right. She runs off this way.
Be safe!
See ya, Tadao. See ya, Coco. She runs off this way.
He waves and he looks over. I thought I heard something strange.
Yeah. You think the birds of the forest hate me?
Tadao like still smiles like he knows. They speak, but I won't. I'm not gonna start to gossip in my old age.
Huh?
Actual concerned expression turns around.
He sits back down, brushing off his legs once again,
This is
and
quite
playing with the leaf.
clear.
It's a small part of the world that is free of turmoil.
A lot of sticks everywhere.
I have to get my exercise somehow. He smiles.
Oh!
She laughs. She looks at a stick. Coco, you idiot. God damn it.
Oh my god.
Have you exercised today?
let me let me see how he's feeling. I don't have the ability to roll with that,
Yes.
but I can roll.
Yeah, I can get that set up, but for now, yes. See how he's
That is
feeling.
right. Let's see how he's feeling.
Oh.
Completely even. He sits there, serene as everything. And he goes, "It is up to you."
Coco grabs the stick.
So, it's like,
nervous.
He
Fighting
still
the greatest
sits.
swordsman ever lived.
Yeah.
That's a bit bashful. That's a bit boasting, but
do we like fight?
Doesn't understand what you at all meant.
there we go.
There is no need to fight, unless you would wish to spar.
Oh,
Pauses for a second.
that's more my great grandpa's thing. I was supposed to, but
He goes, "There's no need for conflict, even pretend."
okay.
Simply, if you wish to have a little game, throw it, and we'll see if I can catch.
Okay.
Oh God.
Fetch.
13!
Okay, let's see if he can do it.
Do it, please.
All right, your sheet's plugged in. You can do it.
You can do it.
Do it.
Come on, old dog.
Yeah. Oh, damn it! I rolled before I could lock in to die.
Oh,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure you can set your swing.
Yeah, you can.
set swing. Let's just do.
And she is throwing this. No, wait. She wouldn't throw towards a person in any means. This over here, the direction.
Perfect. Let's see how good he is.
Oh yeah. Even without your attributes and stuff
Yay!
plugged in, you still did it. So yeah, you
Yeah,
just
still did it.
you dart like directly through the woods. How would you describe the movements of this elderly dog?
Tadao, I feel like Tadao is his movements are. You see him taking like a step each time, in between it, like sort of dashing between, almost like he's floating upon the air currents, until he appears and grabs it with his mouth.
Just popping, landing down.
Like you see like two after images of him before he grabs it.
That's so cool.
And a strange thing is it seems like the wind isn't affecting his clothes.
He almost lands down perfectly.
That was so
He-
cool.
He grabs it from his mouth, shakes his head just a little bit.
I apologize. Old habits die hard.
Oh, it's nothing.
Has no idea what to make of that.
It's unseemly for it's been so long since my form has changed. I'm not used to acting as I appear.
She tilts her head.
He walks.
Well, you see, nobody would like to pet an old man.
The same goes. He hands the stick. His tail is like wagging lazily. The same goes for other pleasure that I used to have.
I think I get it.
People don't look at you the same when you're not a small puppy.
Coco considers. Gets up on the end of her sandals and gives you 2 shoulder pats.
His ear twitches like he was almost happy. But his face is still serene.
Reach.
You're really making me work for this, aren't you? He lowers down his head.
Pat. And pet.
His tail wags a lot faster.
Thank you for coming to Ina's birthday. It means the world to her.
Like I said before, it's the least I can do. Time is the one thing I could never understand.
Coco looks at the sky.
Honestly, so much happens it's hard to tell. Every second from the next.
Shrugs.
I remember just then. You're a lot taller than I remembered.
Coco. She doesn't have like a embarrassed pog, but
Well, I mean, I did just get some new sandals.
No. Forms change. The wind blows. But nothing can stop it.
That's true. Absolutely.
He takes a few steps to the center. Perhaps I've been waiting too long. He shakes his head and goes, nope. I've done this for this long. What's a few more years?
Now, you kind of hop up, landing on the rock, and then almost leaping up and kind of sitting back on the stone itself, crossing your legs and simply waiting there for a moment's longer. Coco, you imagine he's going to be staying here for the rest of the day, just about.
she thinks.
What was it?
Looks at the sky again, kind of holds the stick forward, and walks up to this one and is going to do this to herself.
Oh.
Oh.
She steps forward on the stick, slips. You see the other stick go flying in the air, and a Rube Goldberg machine goes off to safely deliver a package into this pile of leaves.
I knew it! That's the way.
Tadao turns his head, confused, like to the side, like his ears flopping.
She wearily gets up and safely retrieves the box.
Well, I mean, I couldn't carry it up here. Then it would have gotten lost.
That is a interesting solution.
took so long to set up.
Oh,
It's honestly quite ingenious.
Gotta be smart to be the elder. Or just unlucky.
you pop open the package, I suppose, or do you hand it over? What happens? Tell
Um,
me.
I think Coco hands it over because if
Mhm.
she opens it herself, something will go wrong.
Yeah.
But she stands back and is just like,
It's, well, I was really worried because the original place I was storing it was the inn, and I'm sure Ina told you about it catching fire again. But
Yes, I
thankfully,
heard it.
it was safe. I've been traveling a bit, and while I've been traveling, I picked up something. Cause you're here all the time, so I figured if something was brought to you, it would be nice.
That is very sweet. Thank you. You're too kind to this old dog.
And Ina's probably down the trail.
I'm going to roll. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Ina's probably already down the trail.
Slightly trips again, but catches herself.
You guys have a nice day today.
He nods.
You run off, screeching like a cat. And you're left with a single package, Shadao.
He holds it in his hands, checking over. He stops after he looks at his own hands. Once again caught off guard by their existence. And then he'll open the box.
It is this beautiful seashell bracelet. I will say it took several layers of unwrapping the package. There was so much safety put on it. This is something that it is miraculous that there is not a single crack upon it. It has an arrangement of seashells and a very special clasp sealed with the half clamshell seashells?
Mhm.
A purple one of those, and it has a small charm of the same flower that Coco wears in her hair.
Oh.
And it has a note. Had this custom made. It took months. It got lost in the mail.
You see, for a moment, Tadal has to hold it pretty far away from him to be able to see it. He, old man squints. Maybe I should get, what are they called, glasses? Maybe.
All the same, it's a beautiful gift. The first gift you've received in centuries, and it brings a bit of warmth. It seems as though you've waited in one spot for years and years, it seems that the outside world hasn't completely forgotten about this old dog. And I'm going to pull us back and say that's a wrap.